So, I have a bit of a free morning here. My parents had to do some work things and my wife is downstairs, so here we are, back vlogging. I think I've said before, my goal is not to do like a bunch of late night I didn't post or I didn't make something today vlogs. So, finding a time to shoot something cool like this that's like kind of cinematography-y always feels nice. And because it's like spaces like this, it's fun to figure out like what can I shoot and create a little sequence out of. That being said, actually I need to keep that open. It's downloading things from Dropbox. Today, I wanted to talk about writing from what you know. Obviously, we've talked quite a bit about writing from what we know, what we have available to us, all of that kind of stuff. And I recently had a discussion with a good friend of mine, and a lot of the movies that I really love are like very dark and twisted and thrillers and sci-fis and that sort of thing. And for this movie that I'm working on, obviously, it's not that in the slightest. It's a drama. I'm calling it a dramedy. I feel like no one uses that term anymore. But it's this movie about me and my dad's relationship. And I talked a little bit yesterday about, pivoting to be able to make a movie that's tangible. But at the same time, it's not just about like, what can I actually execute and shoot with no help, no budget, no anyone. It's further than that. What is a story that I can tell and confidently tell it? Because at this point in my life, I'm 26 and I've been a filmmaker and creative my whole life. I haven't, caught murderers. I haven't done the research to do that. Everything I know is from movies of that. And so for me, making a movie about that kind of thing at this point in my career would feel disingenuous and it wouldn't feel realistic. I don't know that I could confidently tell that story while also wearing a lot of other hats as a writer, director, producer, actor, cinematographer. It just probably wouldn't all work that well. So for this movie, I'm very much writing from my personal experiences and chalking this whole thing full of as many personal experiences as I can remember and think of. And my dad, who you guys saw yesterday, I literally told him like, hey, think about every possible camping trip and road trip that we ever went on and tell me any funny story that happened. And, I started doing the same. I started talking with my sisters and my wife and like figuring out what those stories are that are hilarious and then being able to tie them together. And we talked about that a fair bit when I was writing the outline. But I think even being here, being home, this time frame is so like nice that it worked out that way, that I'm like halfway through this script about my home and am now at my home, which I haven't been to in like a year and a half. So it's just kind of fun that it worked out that way, but it's also so helpful because as I hang out with my sisters and my in-laws, my brother-in-laws, and my dad, my mom, like hanging out with all of them. I'm so sorry, my very old dog is here. All right, Chessie. Hey, sweetheart. Yeah, that's probably good. You got a lot of water. But it's so helpful hanging out with them at this point in the story. And while I have the outline like pretty locked in for the moment, it's also reminding me of all of these other things that are funny that could build into even just these characters' backstories, or a conversation they have in the car, because it's a road trip movie, so you have to have things for them to talk about. And just sort of reminding me of all of those things has been so helpful on this trip. Past that, it's been so helpful to see where I came from, and be reminded of that. And since we'll probably shoot a fair bit of it here and on the road, and there's going to be a couple different locations, but being here in my parents' house and even shooting things on the vlog gives me an idea of okay, well, if I shoot in my parents' house when I have a little bit more time, a little bit more intentionality than the vlog, how might I light this much better? How might I make it, just a little bit more professional than it is on the vlog? And so obviously we talk about writing from what you know all the time on this channel, because that's what this movie is it is just what I know. But I think there's something so powerful in it, and being able to be here and be reminded of all that, and being able to test a couple things out, shooting in this kitchen and living room, it's just great. And I really enjoy being able to do that. As far as writing and all of that goes, haven't had tons of time. I have 3 nieces and nephews, and my family is very fun and outgoing and wants to hang out all the time. And writing is not something you can do while there's a lot of other people around. So I haven't done a ton of writing this trip, which is why I kind of tried to work ahead the other day, get a couple pages ahead of where I wanted to be. And then I've been working on the vlog, which as usual takes up a little bit more time than honestly writing does. So, should be working on that. But I don't know. I'll gonna try and get back into it, get a couple more things written in the next day or two, and then we'll be back to Nashville in a couple days. So anyways, keep writing, keep having fun. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.